going on, growers? It's James Pigioni coming to you live from Jersey. Today, I'm going to bring you along for an update at the homestead. Everything is really coming together. Let's go! When I first purchased this property a little over a year ago, it was a bit of a mess. There was fencing everywhere and old fruit trees that were not cared for. They were overgrown and diseased. I decided to remove the failed fencing and gave away the fruit trees to someone locally. Also, everything was planted on a hill. The whole garden area was sloped, so whenever it rained, all the water ran down the hill. After removing everything, I got to thinking about how I could slow the water and also create more flat ground. So I chose to create terraces. I decided to have a machine reshape the area, moving the earth to create terraces by just scraping into the hill and moving the dirt. Fortunately, the property is all sand here, and I had a good excavator operator, so they were able to get a lot done fast. After a couple days, the terraces were formed, and I was really happy with them. I had a beautiful area to plant in, and a place fruit trees will love to grow. Now, the only slopes in my garden area are these 2 to 3 foot high and about 2 foot long areas that run the length of my terraces. Everything else is flat. The terraces held up great because there was no rushing water coming down a hill and there was no erosion, even when we had some heavy rains. Shortly after, I went out and planted some cover crop to try and protect the sandy soil from the sun. But almost immediately, the deer came and were eating all of it, which was cute to see, but not a great sign for my future garden. I'm in the middle of the woods here, and because of that, there are just so many deer. They were stopping by every day in the back to try and grab some snacks on whatever was out there. As a result, I wanted to wait for the fence to go up before I planted anything else, because at that point, I was just planting things to feed the deer. After weighing my options, I decided to try and do it right the first time and chose to get an 8-foot fence installed. Here's what it looked like while they were first getting the posts in. The fence was a big financial investment, but it's the investment that will protect all my other future investments. If I spend hundreds of dollars on fruit trees, then the deer come in and eat them, that would just be a huge waste. I went with a farm fence. It's not welded wire, it's fixed woven wire, which gives it strength and flexibility. And that means that it can handle pressure without breaking. And this fence here is guaranteed to last for at least 30 years. One thing I really like about this fence is it has big holes up top here, but then as you move your way down, the holes get smaller, like you can see here, so that keeps the critters out. Since I've got this fence put up, I've seen no deer back here, and it's kept out most of the turkeys as well. I made sure to leave an area behind the fence for the deer so they could go around it and move through the woods. This way I'm not obstructing their way of moving, through the woods and through the property. And you can see some of the footprints here where they've been going. They have like their new deer trail or game trail going through here. And a bit later in the video, I'll take you through and show you everything that I have planted out on all the terraces so far. The fence went in later than expected, and it was too late to plant and add trees. So I decided to use the winter to work on the design and ordered some fruit trees so I can get them planted in the spring. The trees came this spring. I ordered bare root ones, and I've been working to get them planted over the last week. On the day of planting, I like to soak the roots in water to make sure they're fully hydrated before I put them into their new homes. One of the main things that I'm focused on when it comes to this homestead, the design, the garden, planting, everything, is maintenance and management. I want it to be something that I could take care of myself. Because it's my homestead and it's something that I've always dreamed of having, a big garden area like this, I don't really prefer to have people coming out and having to help me manage the whole thing or even help me establish it. Again, this is what I've always dreamed about. This is my passion. So I don't want it to be something that I'm like in a rush to get done. I want to enjoy the whole process of it. And I also want something that I can manage myself and also film, make videos, do the editing, because those are my two favorite things, gardening and making videos. So a lot of the design has to do with something that I can essentially take care of, that I'm not overworking myself on, and I can just enjoy the whole entire experience because this is what I've always wanted to do. I started with planting peaches and wanted to make sure that I put them in a sunny area, then started digging my hole. Almost all the trees I'm planting are bare root, and I plant them directly into my native sandy soil. I don't add compost to the hole because I don't want the roots staying confined to that one pocket. They need to spread out into the surrounding soil. Fortunately, it's all sand here, which makes it easy to dig, and also the sand drains well. When planting bare root trees, make sure not to bury the graft and to keep it far enough above ground so you can add a mulch. I picked up some local compost made of cow manure and leaves, which looks like some really nice stuff. I'm using that as a mulch. This way, every time it rains or I water the trees, they get some compost tea. After planting, when it comes to bare root trees, you want to make sure that you prune back the trees significantly. These trees, before they were shipped out, they were taken out of the ground and the roots were cut back. Then when they come here and you put them in the ground, if you don't prune back the top of the tree too much, then there's going to be an imbalance. If there's too many leaves on that tree and the roots can't support it, then what's going to happen is that's going to stress out the tree so much as it starts to leaf out, and then that will slow down the growth, and or it could possibly kill the tree. For my peaches, I prune them to an open center. You really want to get the shape of the tree right from the start. It will make a huge difference. For my apples, I prune them to a central leader to get a shape like a Christmas tree, which is best for apples. But for most of my apples, especially a tree like this, which didn't have a very large root system, I'll prune them down to essentially a stick, 30 inches off the ground. So this tree doesn't have great spacing already with the branches, and the root system was small, and we've got some cracked branches on there. So what I'm gonna do, although it might seem extreme, is I'm gonna remove all these side branches. It might seem crazy if you've never done this before, but growing fruit trees from bare root and fruit trees in general, it's not about getting fruit or a lot of growth the first year. It's all about investing in the future. And an important thing is establishing a good shape and getting a healthy tree. So I'm gonna move all these side branching. Then I'm gonna cut this thing down to 30 inches, which is about here. And I know it just looks like a stick, but when we do this, we're able to make sure that the tree sets into the new home really nicely, because there's gonna be more roots than leaves, and then it'll grow really well throughout the year. And we'll also be able to train this thing to have the correct shape from the start, which will avoid so many problems in the future. Then later down the road, we won't have to remove big branches to get the shape right. We could start just with the stick, and we'll end with a perfectly shaped apple tree. Now, let me move through and show you what the layout will be and the fruit trees and all about the design. So we're gonna come up, this is the center. I established this as the center. There's gonna be steps going up all those stakes, as you can see. So the first set, there'll be steps here. And then as I walk into here, this is gonna be the kitchen garden. And I wanted it to be at the center of the terraces because I wanna feel like I'm surrounded by all different kinds of edibles. In this kitchen garden, it'll extend from that raised bed there. That'll be the corner. And then it'll go all the way to that other raised bed up top there. So we'll have all beds and stuff in here. And then on the outsides, as I'll show you, we'll have the fruit trees, the berries, all different stuff. So it's like almost like a living room that you're inside of, and all around you are living plants. I think it's gonna be really cool. I'm going to use raised beds in this center section for a few reasons. First of all, the beds are easy to work in. They're easy to cover. And I have a mole and vole issue here. So what I'm gonna do is put hardware cloth under the bed so that the voles and stuff can't come up underneath my beds. That'll make it safer. Plus the soil in a lot of the areas is really poor here. It's all sandy. Sand is good for drainage, and I can amend the soil, but I think I'm gonna go with raised beds in general, just for this spot because they're easy to protect from a lot of those smaller critters and things. And I think it's gonna be just a really good option for this area. That's kind of what I've established for this central kitchen garden. And then we can move out to some of the other areas, like we'll start with the right side of the kitchen garden. The terrace is over here, what I have in and what I'm gonna be planting. On this side of the kitchen garden over here, I'll show you how I have the terraces laid out with plants and some of the plants I have in. All the plantings are going to follow the shape of the terrace. I'll give you a shot to show you what that looks like. Then on this front terrace here, you can see I have blueberries that I need to get into the ground. So this will be a section with all blueberries here. Then as we move past the blueberries in this corner, it's very sandy, nothing grows, but I think it's gonna be a perfect spot for my blackberries and raspberries because they essentially grow like weeds, and I kind of want them out of the way because they can be annoying moving around. I'm gonna be trellising them, but still, I think it would be a good spot because they don't mind sandy soil and they kind of grow like weeds. Then as we move up to the next terrace, well, before that actually we have a space behind the blueberries. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna put in this spot. I'm still trying to decide. Then we move up here, and then at the front, we've got our row of apple trees that are all in, that are looking really nice. In front of the apple trees and around them, we're gonna be putting wood chips in that I still will get. Then we move back here behind the apple trees. We're gonna put in a couple more raised beds because again, this soil is so sandy and poor. It's a section that has grown almost nothing compared to the terrace on the other side. There's a lot more growth and it's better soil over there. So I'll plant things in ground on that side. But for here, we're just gonna go with raised beds. Then as you move up to the next terrace here is where I have my cherries. So we've got cherries all up here, following the shape of the terrace. They look beautiful. We made sure to get them in, give them good spacing, and I cut them back heavily too to make sure they establish themselves well. Then behind this here is where we're gonna be putting our grapes in the future. So this area where I'm closer to the pond, it gets a little bit more wind and it gets a decent amount of light. So I think it'll be a good spot for grapes to keep the air moving, to keep a lot of sun. This will help prevent some of the fungal issues. Then at the top terrace, I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna be putting there because it does get some shade a good amount of the time. Back here, I have a plum and I have a couple more plums along the edge. These aren't the greatest places to plant plums, but I decided to put the plums over there because it's a tree that I've always kind of had a little bit of issue getting fruit from. So I don't want to put them in some of the prime locations. So I lay them off the side. They should get some wind and some breeze to help keep some of the fungal issues off of them. But that's what we've got going on in this side of the kitchen garden, this area of the terrace. Now we'll hop over to the other side. Right now I'm thinking for each terrace, I'm going to have a 10-foot wide path and I'm gonna plant grass there. The reason for that is so I could move the tractor through each terrace, bring the tractor in and dump wood chips around my fruit trees and stuff. I'm thinking about putting grass here because I don't plan on growing anything besides grass in the future. This will really help with the maintenance and the management. For moving wood chips, I'm not gonna have to use a wheelbarrow. I'll be able to use a tractor. Again, my thinking is to put some grass here. I think that will be the best overall. This way I can just mow it instead of putting something like wood chips. If I put those down, then I'm afraid of driving over the wood chips with the tractor, mixing that into the soil, and then potentially having weeds pop up. So I'm thinking my 10-foot paths will be all grass, and I've done some research online. It looked like tall fescue grass might be the best option. I'm not too familiar with grasses though, so if you guys have a better variety of grass that I should plant than that, just let me know. I think it's gonna be the easiest to maintain and just give me good access, and I'll do that same thing on the front of every single terrace, and then probably do something like wildflowers or something on the front side of the terrace. But by putting the grass here, it'll just make maintenance super easy. Now let me move through and show you what the other side of the kitchen garden will be on that side of the terraces. So this will all be kitchen garden area with the raised beds. I haven't laid out exactly how the raised beds are gonna go. I'm just taking my time to try and decide. So right now, we're entering into a different spot. This will be the side of the kitchen garden. In the front here, what I'm planting right now are rows of strawberries. I think it'll be beautiful to have the strawberries just down in front, and I can't wait to put a bunch of rows in. I ordered a lot of strawberries. After that, we move up here and we get into the peaches. So these are all peaches here with nice spacing. Those will all be peaches, but I'm still waiting for 2 dwarf apples that will actually go in this spot right here too. But mainly this row is gonna be peaches. Then behind the peaches here, I'm going to do some rows of tomatoes. I'll build a trellis for them. Because this ground is a lot better, I mean, you could just see even just weeds and stuff are growing here, and some of the cover crops that I had in. On that other side, it's not a spot to plant in the ground. So even just between these distances, which isn't that far, maybe 150, 160 feet, the difference in soil is dramatic. So we're gonna plant some stuff in the ground here, a few rows of tomatoes. Then we'll have that path for the tractor here, the grass path. We'll move up to the next terrace. This terrace up here is pears. I'm still waiting on 2 of my pears, but I've got a few in. We've got a number of Asian pears, about 3 or 4, and then we've got some European pears, about 3 of those. Then at the highest part of the terrace, right where that stake is there, there's going to be a persimmon. So we'll have a couple persimmons at the top. This way when you're looking up at the end of the season, you just see those beautiful bright orange fruits. I think it's going to be just a fantastic look, and it should really cap off the whole garden here. Right here is a shot of what the place looked like about a year ago. You could see a shot of the shed in the corner there. Then as I pan through, this is what it looked like. And here is what the place looks like now. It looks a bit empty, but we're only getting started when it comes to planting. And we're gonna be turning this place into an absolute paradise. That's today's video, growers. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I'm just so excited for the continued progression of this place. Getting more stuff planted, seeing things grow. It's been such a joyous experience already. And I'm trying not to rush too much and trying to just like enjoy the whole entire process. One thing you'll notice is the design of this isn't on like strict permaculture principles. For instance, I'm not putting my kitchen garden super close to like the living space, because I want to set this garden up, 1, how I want it, 2, so it's fun to film in. It's been a blast already, and there's still some things that aren't set in stone. So if you guys have any suggestions, things you think I should add, change, alter, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. This isn't something, like I said, that I'm trying to rush to get done, because it's something I've always wanted to do. I'm trying to take a step back, think about things, and just try to create a place that I want to be in, a place that I can maintain myself, and a place that I have a lot of fun just, being out here. I also plan on adding some animals in the future. So I'm gonna get chickens. I've thought about potentially getting ducks, and a goose, because there's so much life out here. And I'm just doing things one at a time. I'm not trying to add everything at once to the point that it gets overwhelming. So I wanna just add one thing at a time and let the farm and the homestead kind of grow organically and progress. And it's just it's a blast being out here. Just the other day, there was a baby turtle that was walking across the terraces. I got a shot of him. I didn't bother him, I just let him do his thing. But it's just fun to be out here, to see all the animals, to be a part of things, and to keep some of those deer on the outside of the fence. This way we can get some great fruit out there. I had a blast out here. If you guys enjoyed the video, you want to stay along for the updates, hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll continue to do updates of the food forest. This is one where it's not maybe a major update, but I want to bring you along for each piece of it, so you guys feel like you're a part of it. I don't want to just do like a whole before and after. I want to do a progression and growth of the one, soon to be food forest, terrace garden. It's going to be a great place to be, so I'm just so excited about it. I want to mention a thank you to one of our new channel members, Joey Haynes. Thanks for being a part of Team Grow. Thanks for your support in everything we do out here and will continue to do. I also want to mention that we've got some fantastic stuff over at the shop at teamgrow.us. Grab some of the Team Grow plant armor, grab some of JP's Secret Stuff fertilizer, and get your garden growing, because spring is here. There's no better time. There's no better place to be. The garden, it's everything. We'll catch you guys on another one real soon. We